we have some data. So right away I'm thinking, let's write things down. So my mu is going to be the population mean length to width ratio of humerus bones for species A, we'll say, because they didn't say. So some species. And then our H naught we were given there, and that is mu equals 8.5. And remember the H naught, the null hypothesis, almost always has an equals on it. And then the alternate hypothesis, then we could put less than or greater than or not equals. And here they're putting not equals, so it would be mu not equal 8.5. And that's step 2. Step 3, a z statistic is in order. Step 4, do we have an alpha? We don't. We're just looking for the p-value and we want to interpret it. So I want to go through this anyway. And so we would have for this one, I'm thinking it's a not equal, so it's going to be two-tailed, and we'll have some rejection region that looks something like that, and we don't know what our alpha is. So, but that's all we know for that. And then 5 assumptions, and we're assuming a random sample, and we don't know for sure, and we're assuming n is greater than or equal 30. And I'm wondering if that's true, and I can see right here sample statistics for the length width ratio, and n is 41, so we know that's true. And then it looks like we're given an S, so we're going to, S is going to approximate sigma, and so that will make that assumption too. Okay, step 6, I have some space over here on the left, so I'm going to make use of that. I want to do the calculations. And to do that, I'm going to say z equals, oh, and I forgot to write it over here, didn't I? So x bar minus mu naught over s over the square root of n. And so then my z equals, the x bar is 9.26 minus my mu is 8.5, my mu naught over s, which is 1.2 divided by the square root of 41. And when I calculate that on my calculator, I actually got, let me try it one more time because it didn't match what the printout gave. So 41 square root of it, wait, this is a good calculator, I can do it in a different order. 1.2 divided by square root of 41. And so I get a 0.1874, goes on. And I'm going to store that in my A bank. And then I'll do 9.26 minus 8.5. And so I get 0.76. And then that I will divide by recall A equals one more time, and I get 4.055. My z equals 4.055. Okay, now what they came up with from the, I think this is SPSS, oh SAS, it's another software that we use for statistics. There are like 3 big ones. There's SAS, SPSS, and Minitab. And they're all kind of like StatCrunch. So when you get into, if you start going into like social sciences or psychology or even the hard sciences, biology, and those, you'll see studies. And if they have, you'll probably use one of those software packages. And so we want to make sure you understand where these pieces are coming from that they put on the printout. And then our Z statistic did not match exactly with their Z statistic. And I can tell you it's probably because they are only displaying 2 digits for the mean and the standard deviation. when in reality they probably have a bunch of significant digits that they're using in their calculations for the z statistic that we don't have access to because we're just given these 2-digit roundings. So that's why our numbers are different, but at least we know where it came from, and we know we have a big Z 4.055. And if we look that up, because the next thing we want is to figure out our p-value for this, we're going to say it's 0, and we're way off here to the end at 4.05. And when we go to look that one up, we're going to have to slide down some, and we only go to 3. So we only go to 3.09, so we can't even get way off here. So we're going to say that that area way over here is less than 0.0001, because we think it's super small, but we don't know, we can't say it's 0 because we're just really not sure. So we're going to say the probability of z, which is our p-value, remember, so our p-value is less than 0.0001. Okay, so that's the p-value. That was what we were supposed to find. Locate the p-value on the printout, and then we need to interpret it. So we've gone through the whole 7-step process except for the interpretation. And so for the interpretation, we're going to say that the p-value of 0.0001, or less than, we could say less than, be more accurate, less than 0.001 indicates there is sufficient or overwhelming evidence that the humerus is not bones, because there were several, right? The humerus bones are not from the particular species. Okay, and then you could say there is sufficient evidence to reject H0 at any significance level. Okay, so if we're actually looking at bones, and this is what the researchers are going to do, they'll look at the average length-width ratio for a particular humerus bone, that's your upper arm, and then they'll get a sample of bones from a dig, 41 in this case, and they identified them as humerus bones by all the different characteristics of humerus bones, and then they do a length-to-width ratio on that sample. There were 41 bones they found, and then they compare it to the length for the known species, and then they're saying, this one's way too far off, it can't even be chance, these are not from that particular species, it has to be a different one. Okay, so that's how we write our conclusions for those. And I think that's all we had in this lesson. So I'm hoping that this video helps, and see you guys on Monday.